Hey there, guys and gals. Just a question, but have any of you ever met someone who dusted just a bit too vigorously? And now you might be like, I don't know what that means. Well, I'm going to explain to you how I'm actually dusting. True story. There was this one time, it was like 11:30 at night. It's dark as heck. My mom's dusting in the living room, and all of a sudden she's like, you know what? There are cobwebs outside. 11:30 p.m. Pitch black outside. She turns on the light outside, goes outside, starts friggin' wiping off the cobwebs from the front of the house. In the dark. In the dark!
When someone meets my family, they inevitably ask, "How are you, you?" Why is that, you ask? Have I got a story for you?
The story I'm gonna start with today is that my mother is obsessed with me not being able to see. And it's not just me, it's everybody. I don't understand what this is. So, you already know from past seasons, past episodes, that I've had a lamp in my room that my mother would come in and change the light bulbs in, so I couldn't see shit, no matter what. Any light bulb that actually gave me light, too bright. Can't have that. Not allowed to see. Got rid of that lamp, put in another one, found out she was coming in and changing the bulbs too. Then I finally got one that was bright enough that she couldn't change the bulb in because it was one of those cool, like, round bulbs. And she couldn't reach up to get it out. It got so hot because it was so close to the ceiling that it just kept blowing out. And, like, those round bulbs are expensive and a pain in the ass to replace. So I just don't have another lamp on that side of the room now. And I just have baby lamp. But, like, anywhere in the house, you can't see anything, and it's really frustrating because she's like, why don't you turn on a light? Because the light doesn't help me. You won't let us have real lights. But even beyond that, one of my favorite things is the lamps that we have in the living room, broken. They're old. And when I say broken, I don't mean like they're smashed or like the light bulbs are messed up. I mean they're old, and where the bulb sits, like the socket isn't seated right. So if anything moves, none of the fucking lamps on one side of the living room work. What this means is that if the lights in the living room are on and you walk through the living room, the lights will shut off. So they're not helpful. And there was this one time I was arguing with my mom. I was like, can we please get lamps that work? Why? Why can't we see? What are you hiding? What is the point of this? And my mom was like, you're lying. They work fine. And she turns on the lights, stands perfectly still. Nothing happens. I'm like, listen to me. Listen to me. All right. Watch this. So the lamps in here, they're both on right now. I'm going to show them to you. Wow. These are our two lamps. Now, we tighten them, and I think we did something to fix them because it's not happening now. But literally all I did after she stood perfectly still was I came in here and I said, Ma, normal lamps don't do this. Literally, I just walked in here. Both the lamps went out. I was like, come on. Why? Why can't we have real lamps? Now, I can't get it to happen right now, but I can show you that as I went to turn this lamp on, just listen. Just listen. First of all, look how wobbly this lamp is. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going to try and go over here for you so you can see. Like, that's not normal. Sorry if I just blinded all of you. That was my bad. But, like, these are shitty lamps. And they used to literally turn off if you walked past them. Worthless to everybody. I'm glad we fixed something. Do you know that essentially this means, for once, I fixed something too early in this house? God damn. Or somebody fixed it. I don't remember who did what for the lamps, but they're not doing what they used to. So, kudos to whoever did that. Oh my god. Okay, so we used to have one of those big hanging lights in the kitchen. And, well, I guess technically not a hanging light, but it was on the ceiling with, like, fluorescent tubes. And when we first moved in, all 4 slots worked. It was fine. We did something, only 2 slots worked. We did something again, only 1 slot was working. So it was dark as hell in the kitchen. And we finally got that fixed. So we got a new fluorescent tube thing with just its own 2 bars. I think it's halogen, whatever. It's bright as hell compared to what it used to be in there. So we finally get a fucking light somewhere in the house so we can actually see things in. And like the second night that we had it on, through my mail or whatever, and second night we've had this nice new light that actually works and shines light upon the room so you can see shit. So naturally I'm trying to read shit in here because I can actually see. And this is the second night of the light being on. My mom comes in and she just goes, "Wow, it is so bright in here. Could we maybe turn off a light?" Why would I turn it off? This is literally the point of electricity, so that you can see and do things in the dark. Alright, riddle me this. I've never lived in an apartment, but I always thought it was a societal thing, like it was a social norm that you don't vacuum after a certain hour in the night. My friends tell me this is only if you live in an apartment, but I've never lived in an apartment, and I always thought that was a thing. Until, all of a sudden, my mom just started vacuuming after midnight. Granted, I am not an early sleeper by any means. I don't go to sleep early no matter what. I can't even fall asleep before 10 unless I'm deathly ill. 10 is not like late either, but I go to sleep generally way after that, even on work nights. And I know that's bad. Don't worry about it. So she just starts vacuuming in the middle of the night for no reason. And I'm like, yo, why? That is so rude. Even though it's literally just me and her in the house. I'm like, no, you just don't do that. That's not a thing. And my friends are like, no, that's only a thing if you're in an apartment because the walls are paper thin. And I'm like, well, the walls are paper thin here too for the most part. So maybe that's why? But like, I always thought that was a thing. And I do, it's not like she's the only one that vacuums. I honestly like vacuuming. I don't like it as much in the summer, but in the winter, I love vacuuming because the vacuum is warm. It's so warm. And we don't get heat. So if I vacuum, the vacuum can be like, wah, and warm me up. And that's nice. I like that. So I do like vacuuming. And since we moved here, I got real used to using all the sucker attachments and shit. The rug attachment and the sucker attachment on the arm because there's so many weird-ass bugs living up here in the woods. There's so many. And you just gotta suck all them creatures up and make a little menagerie inside the vacuum. I don't recommend, this skeeves me out, the current vacuum that we have and use, actually both of them. I bought one for my mom, like I did all this research and what have you, and I was like, I hate it! It's the worst! But sometimes she'll vacuum the whole house with it, and I'll be like, no, it's a terrible vacuum, isn't it? And she's like, I hate it! And puts it away, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But generally, I use that vacuum, and the arm, I pick it up, and I suck up all the weird and creepy ass crawlies that are all over the house. So I vacuum relatively often, probably for a guy relatively often. It's not like I never vacuum. But there are times when I'll bust out the vacuum and my mom will be like, oh, make sure to do the floor and make sure to clean the rugs with it. And I'm like, what do you think I vacuum? Like, especially if I have the wheels for the vacuum attached, because one of the sharks where you can disconnect it and carry it around to wah. I'll be like, what do you think I'm doing when I have the wheels on? Do you think that I flip it upside down with the wheels and roll it on the ceiling? No! I'm sure there are people who do that, but that ain't me. If I'm going to go on the ceiling, I'm going to use one of the arm attachments and be like, I'm not turning it upside down and rolling the wheels across the ceiling. Hell no! That's so much extra effort for no reason. Do you think in however many years I've been alive, I haven't figured out yet that the wheels on the vacuum go on the floor? Like, I don't need that kind of assistance. Get out of here! Alright, granted, I may not be the cleanest person ever. Error. I may not be the cleanest person ever, but I would say for a guy, like I said before, I'm probably pretty clean. Like, I had this conversation with my second cheating ex, when she was still my girlfriend at the time, where I was like, what other guy do you know that cleans the bathroom after they've taken a shower? Do you know any other guys who do that? The answer is probably no. And she was like, my dad does. Now, I should have taken that immediately as, oh, I'm going to have some weird fucking comparison with her dad all the time, which is never a relationship you want to be in. Yeah, run. Like, that's a big red flag. I don't have anything red to hold up, and that pisses me off. I was like, why would you compare me to your dad and not some, like, guys your age, friends? No, I'm not an adult. I mean, I am actually an adult, and I was an adult then, but I don't consider myself an adult. Like, when I'm like, I need an adult, I'm never thinking of me. Most people my age are not thinking of us. No, I need a real adult. So, there was that. But, like, I'm relatively clean, though there was this time, my best friend Mike, you would know as Crazy Bacon, came over, and he brought his dog. And actually, there were two separate occasions where this happened. The first one, we were watching. We were all sitting here playing a game. And by we were all, I mean me, Mike, and Dina, his dog. We're all sitting on the bed. And all of a sudden, she just stood up and pissed all over my bed. And me and Mike were like, why? And we, like, went and did laundry and what have you and did it. And then there was another time they came over. And Dina was up here. She pissed on my bed again. But we didn't know it. And you can't see it right now. You can probably see like some of the vestiges of it. I have a big bed, but I'm only one person, so I use one half of my bed as a table. I know a lot of single people do this. It's just extra space, so I use it as a table, and there's just shit all over it. So, unfortunately, she peed on the side that I never do anything with. All the stuff was moved. And I put the stuff back. And every once in a while I'd be like, yo, my bedroom smells funky, but I couldn't find it. I don't understand. It was quick dry piss. We should have noticed, but neither of us did. We weren't even like wasted or anything. We were just like, it smells bad in here sometime. I don't know. Don't see it. Whatever. And like a day or two later, I think it was the next day actually, Will and Kim came over. They came over, Will was like, somebody pissed on your bed. And I was like, they did what now? And there it was. You could see one spot was darker than the rest, but I had covered it up with shit as I was using it as a table. And I didn't even notice the dog had pissed in my bed. Oh, sometimes people make mistakes, okay? People make mistakes sometimes. So now, like, Mike refuses to bring his dog over ever again. Because I'm so sorry, she pissed in your bed twice, not once but twice. And I'm just never bringing her over again. Which sucks because sometimes that gets in the way of D&D, but that's a story for another day. Another lifetime. Okay, also, I'm going to put this one out there too. Speaking of being clean, reduce, reuse, recycle, whatever, I grew up with it. One of the tenets of that I've grown up with is that if you're going to collect cans or bottles to bring back to the deposit, you rinse them out. I'm not one of those people who like goes in and tries to wash it, like pours water down the top and then squirts soap in it and shakes it around. We don't wash them. We rinse them out so that they're not sticky should one of them like turn over or what have you, gets emptied. And then we knock the water out as best we can and it goes into the recycling pile. My entire life, we've done this. We've always rinsed the cans because they're sticky and there's going to be a huge bag of them. You don't want to stick your hand in there and be like, sticky! You don't want that. So you rinse them out. And when we got here, there was a day, for literally no reason, where I'm sitting there rinsing cans as I'm putting them through. Especially cans because there's no way to cover the top no matter what. You want to rinse that. Otherwise, when you go to grab the bag, and you move it, or you reach your hand into it, you're going to be like, ugh, sticky, gross. So I'm rinsing the cans out, and I'm dumping the water out, and I'm going to put them in the recycling bag, and my mom, like, stomps into the kitchen, and she goes, why are you doing that? And I'm like, what am I doing wrong now? Why are you rinsing the cans? Otherwise, they're going to be, ew, sticky, and no one wants that. And she goes, we don't do that. Swear to you guys, my head whipped around like I was on a fucking, like as an owl on a swivel. My head was like, wachaka! I looked her right in her goddamn eyes, and I said, liar! We have done that my entire life. Next time there was cans in the sink, what did she do with them? She rinsed them out and poured it out. Why? Why did you decide on that one day we don't do that? That's a fucking lie. You can't do that to people. I don't want to be more crazy than I already am. So tone it down. Trying to tell me that my reality isn't real. Get out of here. Trying to make me crazy. Oh, I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but I thought it was the funniest fucking shit in the world. So you know how we got the pink bathroom demoed, and now it's another gray bathroom? We started the episode in there. This is the new redone bathroom. For some reason, before they came to demo the room, if for some reason you don't know what I mean by demo, as opposed to demonstration for a video game, I mean demo as in demolition. Literally, where they come in with the sledgehammer and there's whack, 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 and they just break everything in there so that they can start anew. Smash up the tiles with like a little jackhammer thing, and you break down the walls with this you don't need with the sledgehammer. Like, legitimately demolish the room for 3 days before they demolished the bathroom. My mom furiously cleaned every square inch of what was in there, so that it was like spick and span clean, to the point where you could eat off the floor. I wouldn't, but you could have, because it was so clean. Why? Literally, they're going to destroy the room. Why did it need to be clean? And now, I can see some of you might be out there like, well, you don't want to leave it disgusting for someone else to go. No. I can understand that. If you want to like make sure the toilet's not disgusting, if you're gonna keep it, you want to make sure there's no like, I don't know, some poop demon or what have you living in there somewhere. You want to make sure it doesn't smell. Totally understandable. I'm talking like bleach and Clorox the shit out of everything so it shined just so it could get destroyed. Why? Why go through all that trouble? And why be so mad about it? He's like, you can't come in here! A couple of days before they were getting ready. I gotta clean it! And I'm like, why though? But why? What is the purpose of making it spick and span if it's literally gonna get obliterated? Why bother? And like, I think that sums up a lot of like my I want to say viewpoint, but that's not what it is. Like, my perspective of watching my mother do things my whole life, and her just getting like so bent out of shape for things that don't matter. It's almost never about stuff that matters. Like, she would have never been like, don't use the bathroom because I accidentally made a deadly chemical in there. It would only be like, I gotta clean it so I can get blown up. And that's just who she is as a person, which thankfully I don't have. I may have started with that, but I worked my way through it, and I'm like at a normal person level of yeah.
Hey there, guys and gals. Thanks so much for watching, as always. If you click the link on the left, you'll be taken to the previous episode. If you click the link on the right, you'll be taken to the playlist where you can watch them all.
You know how sometimes you see people in relationships and it just gives you hope for the future that you can do it too? My neighbor stuck around.